Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I call the meeting of the Planning Board of March 17th, 2025 to order at 6:31 p.m. Would you, please, everybody introduce yourselves first?
Oh, okay. Carol Hofseth, present.
Lance McNally, present.
Andrew Shepherd, present.
And Laura Schifrin, present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank all of our veterans as well as our current military serving and all of our first responders for their sacrifices. We thank them and also for their families. The meeting is being recorded and uploaded to the Town of Townsend YouTube channel. Is anyone else recording?
Lori?
Yes?
We have a Joseph Boyle who'd like to join us. Should I let him in?
Yes, please. Yes, please. He's our 6:35. Thank you. I don't see anybody else recording. 1.4, approval discussion of meeting minutes, February 24th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 24th, 2025.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Beth, just those two edits that I gave you.
Okay.
With notice and, I didn't give you the second one, 1.3 should be announced with the, past tense, announce the meeting, okay? Thank you. Vote please.
Carol Hofseth, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
I'm going to abstain,
Okay,
and you can vote yes because we'll have majority.
Laura Schifrin, yes. Oh, and Robert is here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Robert,
great.
good to see you. Come on in. We're just doing preliminaries and just had the vote on the minutes of February 24th, 2025. Did you have a chance to review them?
Yes.
Okay, you're the last one to vote.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Robert Darian,
What was the
aye. Did you get that, Beth?
She asked
I
for
was
the
just
second.
Oh, Andrew.
back to the
Andrew,
second edit. I'm sorry. I got the first edit. I didn't get the second edit. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, the second edit was announced at 1.3.
Yep.
And the minutes should be announced with a D at the end. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, so, and the votes on the minutes were Carol, yes, Andrew, yes, Lance abstained, Robert, yes, and Laura Schifrin, yes. Okay, we are at 6:35. Mr. Boyle, are you on?
I am on and unmuted.
Okay. Go ahead and give us the news, if you will.
Okay. The news is I had a meeting today with three people from EOHLC, basically the MBTA Communities Office and the leadership at the Livable Communities Division, who's in charge of that office. They gave the full blessing to the to the bylaw and to the oversized district with a unit cap. They applaud it. They think it's a great. They really appreciate the work that we've done. But the back lot without frontage, the landlocked lot, is still going to be a problem. What they said specifically about that is that they did not want to put out a review letter, a pre-app review letter, which gives the okay to this district because of the precedent it would set, and in fear that other communities would take advantage of that ruling to deliberately create unbuildable districts. And for that reason, They they do not want to give they don't want to issue you a pre-approval letter saying that they approve of this. In fact, if we make them issue a pre-approval letter on this district, they're probably going to have to issue one which calls it out and which denies it.
Okay, so we don't have.
Now, so what they're recommending, so this kind of leaves you with a couple of options. The first one would be to create a district which goes along in which all of the lots have frontage. Keep the bylaw exactly the same. Take the front lots here, get rid of the back lots, and add some other properties to the south until we get to the acres we need among those properties. Another option would be to stick with this district and try to get it approved. Actually adopt it and try to get it approved, and then once it's approved, send it in for it goes to the AG, and it has to be approved by the EOHLC. Now, in my conversation with them, they pointed out that you're not due until get something passed and in compliance until 2026, January 1st, 2026. What's more, they pointed out that there is a sort of hold harmless period that they can put that communities would be in while they're still in the process of adopting their and of making the changes they need to get their MBTA district approved. So if we waited all the way until the end of 2025, past this as it is with this district, and then they disapproved of it then, they said that, and you needed to make the change then, you would not be in a position where your grants are in danger. You would not be in a position where you are being declared out of compliance. You'll just be treated as somebody who's still working to come into compliance. In either case, we've gotten from them all the feedback we need to understand how they're looking at Townsend's proposal. The very next thing somebody should do is to withdraw the pre-approval application. The reason to withdraw the pre-approval application is to not force the MBTA Communities Office to put in writing a decision. They don't want to have to do that. That's the thing they're trying to avoid. It seems to me that they're trying to avoid that even more than they're trying to avoid approving your district. I don't think they really have a problem with what you're doing here with this back lot. They have a problem with people suburbs right in towards Boston trying to take advantage. So plus a second thing they pointed out is that a lot can happen with lot ownership over the course of a year. And that if lots were combined into common ownership or something like that, before you were due to be brought into compliance, they would no longer be landlocked lots, and this whole issue would be moot. Okay, everybody understand?
Not quite.
Okay, you have landlocked lots, meaning lots that in the back that are in different ownership from lots in the front. So, if a landlocked lot abutted a lot that had frontage, then the two of them functionally it's like one lot, and that back lot has its access through the front lot. And so if these couple of landlocked lots in the back that are the problem with the district as it's drawn, if between now and the end of 2025 the owners were to get together and form something or sell something or somehow create a common ownership in that, then the problem of you having landlocked lots without access that can't actually be developed would disappear. And you'd just be approved right away. So, I mean, what it comes down to is how much do you want to fight to keep this district? How much do you want to try? Is it worth it to try to keep this district as it is instead of going to a different configuration where we drop these 2 lots in the back that don't have frontage and start picking up abutting single family homes going south down Route 12? And I have, if I can share my screen, I have a map that shows that.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to see that? Yeah. Let me see if I can figure out sharing now. Share. Oh, share. Screen. Share. All right. So, all right. Let me zoom back a little bit on this. So, we currently have. Switching to the other maps just so that you can compare. What did I have? What was I looking at before? Oh, that was somebody else who was sharing. All right, do I have this here? I have it here. All right, I have it somewhere else. The older one, the existing one. Townsend 2020, yeah, last year's in Townsend MBTA. The sorry about, okay. So you can see the lots here. This purple, ignore this purple line. This L shape, this one and this one. So we go to, okay. So we're picking up 121 and 125 and 129 and 131 and 135. So if you look at the heavy red line, this is if you pick up if you want to do a district about as big as the one that already exists, to give them about as much, the same amount of land for the different opportunities. I mean, the whole point of having the oversized district and all the advantages of that. This red line, if you want to do a smaller district and pick up fewer properties along here, ending it at that checkered red line would be a smaller district. That would still be a little bit oversized, giving them a little bit more flexibility. We could probably, if you wanted to go all the way down to minimal, could knock off 109 and possibly even 111. And that would get us down to minimal size. We could tweak this. I'm just showing that there's different options here for getting from between a minimally sized district to a district about the same size as the one that we wanted. So this leaves you with.
Robert has a question.
Go ahead.
In this illustration here, are we still going to have landlocked property behind that?
No.
Well, there's still landlocked lots behind it, but they're not in the multifamily overlay district zone.
Right.
They keep their current zoning.
These are all frontage lots.
So what future options are those for those areas?
They can contact with one of their abutters, whether with the abutters to whether in this district to use their driveway, or somebody outside of the district that has access to find a way to get access. Basically, they'd be in exactly the same situation they're in now. Are you raising the question of whether having this multifamily overlay district in front of them would make them even less able to develop their property and make it even less likely that they'd be able to work with their neighbor and find and develop it in common?
I'm concerned about there's a statute regarding the justice.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, options that would be available to a normal person in a subdivision are being, people with these lots in the back would feel they're not being, they don't have the same justice use of their lots as somebody that doesn't have that situation, and therefore can get a special permit or a variance under a hardship because they're being denied the opportunities that their abutters have.
Well, every zoning district has boundaries on which things are allowed on one side and not another. That and the adoption of this zone wouldn't reduce the development potential of any of the back lots. It would be more or less moot for the development potential of those back lots.
They really don't have.
They're not, they're basically similarly situated people need to be treated the same, but the fact that you're on different sides of a zoning line doesn't mean that you're similarly situated people who need to be treated the same. We can have zoning lines with different rules on different sides. We know this.
Yes.
I mean, the example you brought up was of two lots in the same subdivision. You know, those are very similarly situated, but different lots can be in different districts. From my point of view, this is kind of a tricky question. A point I was making today was that having a more round or more square district rather than a more linear district gives a little more, it tends to be a little more flexible in what you can do and a little less constrained. And so the potential of achieving this vision of this true mixed residential neighborhood was going to be more realistic in the district that we have now, which is more big and square compared to a district of only lots that have frontage. So I guess the big decision here is, do you want to change the district now and not have to worry about there being a problem with it being in compliance and maybe having to change it later? Or do you want to pick the district that you like best, knowing that you might have to go back and amend your zoning map to bring it into compliance?
Would that require two separate town meetings then, if we had to go back again, right?
Yes, but you have two town meetings every year. This is another thing that was conveyed to me at this meeting this morning. That I mentioned earlier, there's sort of a hold harmless period where they're not gonna report you as being out of compliance and you'll be in danger and stuff. And they'll make sure that, you know, yours goes to the bottom of the stack and everything, and you have the time to do that. I brought up the issue. This is a town that has town meetings. It's not a city council every week. And they said and they represented to me that they would make sure you had the time to have your spring town meeting, if that's what needed to happen.
Next year, like
Yes.
in 26.
Yes. Yes.
I think we stick with what we have and see what happens.
I don't know, your recommendation is to fix the problem now, right? Joe?
Not really. I mean, this is a genuinely difficult decision, and there's different parts that go into it, and your opinions about, you know, how much you really prefer the existing district to something like what's on the screen now, that comes into play here. I'm not coming down on one side or the other on this. I feel like it's going to be okay either way. One of them might be administratively easier and more likely to succeed, and the other one you have a chance of actually getting what's best. And, if you want to go in either direction, they'll understand. They like you, they like us, and it's going to be okay, whichever one you want to do.
I kind of feel like just looking at it, I feel like a better fit in my view, even though it's more difficult, is the first option. It feels to me like it creates more of a neighborhood. It feels to me it's more likely that you have mixed unit types and more variety. I would worry just looking at this. I mean, we're regularly told that we're just zoning for it. It's not going to be built potentially, but
Yes, it
the
will.
idea is that it could be built.
Yes.
And I would imagine this seems a bit more shoehorned, kind of get it done quick. And I mean, just kind of starting to think about this as an option now, but I feel like I have more of a preference, and I could come along, but to the first district and try to stick with that and have the state deal with their inside 495 people and get them all done. And then all of a sudden they look at us later and say, all right, we're not as worried now about everyone inside 495 trying to do what you guys are doing to.
I like the initial one as well. I think it has less visual impact on the road. Instead of sprawling it all down the road.
Yeah, this
More
one.
concentrated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think,
And things can change in a year with the state. I mean, they may,
well, if
you
we have
never
to,
know.
we have to, but I think we spent a lot of time trying to make this work. and,
Yeah.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort into
yeah.
doing this.
So Joe, right now, we stick with this.
Withdraw
And
the pre-app.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Withdraw now, the
Now.
approval.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, Beth? Is everybody in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yes.
think I'd like a motion.
Meanwhile,
Motion.
I will communicate with them informally.
Okay.
We have a good relationship. Keeping them in the loop is a good thing. And if I could make
So-
one more suggestion. Actually, I'm not even going to make a suggestion. I'm going to make just an observation. You know your property owners. The issue here is a lack of common ownership. And if there wasn't an issue with a lack of common ownership between the back lots and lots in front of them that have access, there would be no issue. Common ownership can mean one person owns two lots. Common ownership can mean two property owners form an LLC, and the LLC owns the lots, or the LLC owns rights.
Don't we have three owners here?
So-
I've kind of approached it as like an ownership blind. I don't really know who owns it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nobody's really looked into who they are because, it's
And that's
not something that the zoning of this is not something that the, town really has input in as far as picking the area. I mean, we've worked on looking at a few different parcels for a while now. So, what happens?
Joe, would we be able to write something in the bylaw about like a hammerhead lot or a common drive easement type of thing that would satiate them a little bit more, or it has to be more ownership and frontage specific, very, very clear?
I mean, we don't know.
You don't even need to write anything. I don't think you even need to write anything into the bylaw about easements and stuff. I think if they brought up easements in my first conversation way back in the email exchange, if there's even so much as an easement that gets to the back lot, they're going to give you the big okay. They asked me, can we find some easements or stuff? They're looking for, I think they want something to hang their hat on. So no, I don't think we need to change the bylaw for that. I think you can already do it.
Guess we just wait and see.
Matt?
Yeah.
Yep.
Could you just repeat again what, we're going to ask to be withdrawn?
The pre-approval application. Basically what Beth had submitted in, when was that? November?
October 2024.
October, which had it's with the MBTA office. It's a chance to have them take a look at your bylaw, take a look at your map, have them confirm that everything's okay before you adopt it, instead of towns adopting it and then finding out, oh no, you did it wrong. It's more like a service they offer, and we've gotten that service. We've gotten not just we've gotten more than most people get out of them. Not just a pre-app letter saying yes or no, but these deep conversations and stuff with them in that office. We don't need their pre-approval letter to know what their thinking is, and they're trying not to issue it.
Okay. Okay, so then I will entertain a motion to withdraw the pre-approval application for the
MBTA.
multifamily overlay district.
I'll second it.
Andrew first and Carol seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Carol Hoff says yes.
Lance McNally, yes?
Robert Therin, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
And Laura Schiffern, yes. Anything else, Mr. Boyle?
Yes. Yeah, and I can't. I realized that you hadn't been looking at lot ownership as you went through this, and why would you? I mean, can't tell you how awkward it is for me to be here on a zoning project talking about lot ownership. You didn't look at that because that's really not something that you're supposed to look at when you're doing zoning, and for the most part. And the way that this came in at the last second, this is very strange. This is not. This is out of order. So the reason that this seems weird and we're doing this strange thing that you don't usually do is because this is a strange situation. Now, I have looked at the property ownership, as did they, obviously, and confirmed that, yep, the lots in back don't have common ownership, aren't in common ownership with anything that abuts them that has frontage. That information is all available through the town assessor's office, and we have our Montezuma Region Mapper, Mr. Mapper website. Just enter Mr. Mapper into Google and you can find assessor's data, and you can go in there and you can pick out these lots, and you can pick out the lots and you can find out exactly who the owners are.
I have that available for the board members. The assessors provided that, so I'll send it over.
Just as a matter of interest, how's that?
I hear what you're saying, but I as a, I don't know, elected member of the planning board would not want to approach a landowner
No,
and say, hey, buddy,
no.
think about buying this guy's land or getting an easement. That is not a thing that I think we want to be
No.
involved in at all.
Indeed. On
Especially
the other hand, there's these property owners. They're not zoning specialists. Having an information session about the new MBTA Communities District for the property owners, that would be a nice thing for the town to do. I could probably make myself available for something like that. Just an information session about the MBTA district.
Sure.
Okay, so Beth, you have that information. Can you just tell me, is it 3 different owners?
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On
5 different owners.
On 5 different lots.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Of course.
You're talking about the one that has the back lots, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We selected.
Well, you would think the people with the back lots would be approaching the ones
Yeah.
with the others, and let's
Yep.
put
Or
something
either way,
together.
you know.
So in that regard, that could expedite things pretty quickly.
Well, assuming that they're aware of what's going on.
Say what?
I said, are they aware of what's going on?
I don't think they are.
Which is what I was just saying about an information
Yeah, we-
session would be a nice thing for the town to
We've
do.
been working on this for at least 18 months now. And so
Yep.
people just don't watch the meetings or attend the meetings. They're all public postings. They're all on YouTube. Okay.
Well, we could invite them directly.
Well, let me ask you this question. Are we obligated to notify?
No, I don't
No,
think so.
zoning change, this is, first of all, state mandated zoning,
Okay,
this one. But,
I think you're only obligated to notify the actual property owners for a zoning change.
Oh, I had asked you to look into that, Joe. Did you
Oh,
look into
right,
that?
right. And it's basically defined by your bylaw. And there's nothing in the state law about your about abutters. And I didn't see anything in your bylaw. I have not. I didn't do that. I didn't. I'll make sure I get back to you on that tomorrow about
Okay.
A butter notification. But I believe that actual property owner notification is there. I'll confirm that too.
Okay, because I know that we questioned town council on that, and he said there was no requirement.
Not even about
But
not even about the property owners in the district itself. I had read that email and I thought it was a butter notification outside the district. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but this was a while ago. I don't know.
Okay.
this
I mean,
isn't like the
he must
historic
inform you.
district. Where, you know, where it has to be done at a town meeting and anybody within the district can say, I don't want my house in that meeting and have it amended in that district.
Mm-hmm. They can ask for it to be amended.
I mean,
I think it would be more likely that abutters would complain about it than that the property owners themselves would complain about you increasing their property values.
I would agree.
I think that's why Beth asked Adam about that first
Yes.
beforehand.
Okay. But it's kind of two different things. The notification that there's a zoning change happening is one thing, but then an information session for these property owners about exactly what their rights would be under the district and stuff. That would be like an event for the town to hold. That's not just a butter note. That's not just, the mailing out the notifications.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to determine what's appropriate here. I think in terms of the performance of the members of this board, it's probably better to notify the owners and the abutters, because otherwise, we could be at a town meeting and somebody said, I know about this, I don't want my property in it, or
Well, if they had that right,
right.
they would have to be notified. In other words, before, let's say the historic district came before the town, all the people in the district had to be notified that this was being voted on at this meeting,
Right.
okay? This is not the case. This is not the
I'm just thinking what the public's perspective would be here. I mean, it's by not telling anybody, then we're in trouble that way. And then by advising other people, we're in trouble that way, right? I'm just trying to, I feel like just let everybody know what's going on, and so that they can look at their personal situation and be prepared.
Well, at this point, we're not there yet because it's not approved.
Right.
So, you know, why upset people? if
No,
it's
but this
not
is a
going-
conversation right now, though.
Yeah, I know. And if they ever watch any of the meetings, they're gonna hear this.
Hmm.
Or somebody listening to the meetings would say, hey, did you see they're talking about your area? You should check out the meetings and find out what's going on. So it's not, we're not hiding anything from anybody. Okay, I think that's all we have to do here on this one. And we just wait and see.
Yes. Yes. Withdraw and withdraw the application and move forward as you planned. Moving forward as planned means talking about your public hearing, public education events, and the town meeting. I had sent an email with a couple of items for the board to look at, one of which was the handout we'd made for you earlier, and another one was the PowerPoint presentation that I've done at public education events. Are we talking about that tonight, or did you just want to talk bylaw?
If you're going ahead to town meeting with the warrant article, we have a placeholder on the warrant. So if we are going ahead, if the board wants to go ahead and keep this on annual town meeting, I am going to need to, you know, create the public hearing notice and all the administrative stuff. Now, knowing that I need to notify abutters, I'm going to have to ask the assessors for everybody within 300 feet of the boundary of the district. So I don't know how long that'll take. It should be pretty quick, but so there's some timing here. But
Wait, is that what you have to? Is that what you have to do? Notify 300?
Within 300 feet of the outside boundary. Yes, that's how abutter notifications work.
Oh.
So we have the district boundary.
Yeah.
And the assessor will go out 300 feet from there and give me all the names, and those are the abutters. And then the folks that own the property inside the district will, of course, also be notified.
Yeah. So they'll at least hear about it that way.
Yep.
Cool.
Well,
Let me ask a question. Would you, if we withdraw the pre-approval application at this time, but you were saying we had until December 31st or January 1st, whatever, to do it, and we are generally have a fall town meeting, should we move this to the fall town meeting rather than this one?
Sure.
What did that get us? What would that get us?
I don't know.
Well, more time?
Well,
Our timeline's fine. I don't think we need more time for. I'm now. I don't know. Maybe there's. Did you want more time for like public education events? I could imagine that if that's the way you want to go.
Well, we have to have a public hearing anyway, and we may have some other reasons for a public hearing,
I
so
think
we
we
would just
move it
add that
now.
to that. Huh?
I think we move it now,
Okay, all right,
and that gives us time at the end
Okay.
if we have to adjust something.
then we've had discussion. I just wanted to bring it up.
Mhm.
If we wanted to buy more time, I don't know. But okay,
Excuse me,
Beth,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know whether what I just heard was. I think the term "move it now." Did you mean put it on this town meeting's warrant and move it on the town meeting, or did you mean I think we move the date we vote tonight to move the date?
he wants
No,
to move it
no.
now.
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My bad.
So Beth, what do we have for a date for public hearing?
April 7th. Does that work?
April 7th?
Okay,
Yeah, April 7th. I mean, that might be a little close, actually.
Well, it's the 7th or the 21st. The meeting is in May, so either one. So May 6th. So the 7th or the 21st, which one do you want to do?
I mean, if the 21st isn't too close, then I'd prefer to do that. We need to know when the warrant will be going to print as well. So the 21st might be too late. How about, well, the 18th, you already have, I'm sorry, the 14th is a meeting anyway for a public hearing on an application. So, I mean, that would be a long night, but it's possible.
Huh. What dates are we meeting in April?
We're meeting on the 14th. They were changed. So the only meeting for April is the 14th, right? Because the town election's on the 28th.
Right.
And so I think, yes, so I think we have the 7th and the 14th. Sorry,
Okay.
for April.
Okay.
And that's
I'll
why,
speak to
and that's
Nelson.
why I thought that, you know, the public hearing could be done on the 7th. Now, I can get publication done, but I'm not sure that I can get the assessors notified that quickly. You know what I mean? That's my concern. I think it's going to take a while to get that assessor's list and get that mailed out, because that's through postal service type of thing, you know?
Okay, so my only hesitation is that today we had a department head meeting and Nelson, and this is about the budget, wants to hold a public forum once we think we have a number for an override. And then it was, the 14th was mentioned. So, but I will see if we can do it any time that week. And I don't, obviously, for whatever reason, I thought we were meeting the 7th and the 21st, but we're not. So the 14th is when planning is meeting. So I'll
Yes,
speak
there's
with
a public. That's true. It doesn't have to be on a Monday. So
for the
the public hearing, yeah, it could be moved to any day of the week. But the 14th is definite.
That we're
But I'm
meeting.
a little nervous that we might be getting too close to the printing of the warrant on one end and the notification of abutters on the other. That's my concern.
So the 7th is too early for you. The 14th is too late. Which is the one you would like?
Well, I think the 14th, if we're going to do it, okay? Like the 14th would be fine. That's the same night as your public hearing. Or, you know, we could go to the 16th of that week, so April 16th.
Okay, so why don't we say one of those two dates, and I'll see what the town administrator wants to do for the forum, the budget forum, which will be.
Yeah, if you really can't move the April 14th date for planning board. I'm going to need all members, because that's the application that was already been delayed, so I can't delay that further. April 14th is the public hearing.
Okay,
So what I'm saying is, you know, if you could do the 16th for the zoning bylaw amendments public hearing as a Wednesday night,
oh, that doesn't,
that's a possibility.
that doesn't help. That doesn't help. So.
No, doesn't help. Okay.
Why don't we just say
A Tuesday night?
why don't we just say the 14th, and I will work with Nelson on the other time.
Yeah, that should be enough time. Sure. Okay. And I'll have to talk to Adam, because he was all set for the 7th, but I think we're a little close for the
I won't
14th.
make the town meeting on the 6th.
Yeah,
Flying
we
back
know.
okay.
No.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to present everything.
Nah.
No, he has a good excuse.
Is the wedding in April?
May.
May.
I thought May, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get
May
back
26th.
on town meeting night.
Okay.
May I ask what you'd like from the MRPC for the night of the 14th? Is your
For the
public hearing?
14th? Yeah. Present, answer questions. What do you want forward?
For the public hearing, yes. If you would like to attend, we'll have you on the agenda.
I assumed you'd want me to be there for questions and stuff. I don't need to be on the agenda. I just need to be there as a resource. Or if you wanted me to do my PowerPoint MBTA dog and pony show, I can do that for you.
His presentation, I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, the board says yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you're talking the one that you did for Leominster? You'd
Yeah.
do for town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done it. Westminster.
What
Yep.
else is on the agenda on the 14th?
His public hearing for.
Well,
There's
a hearing for an application for site plan review and stormwater management permit.
Is that, Main Street?
It's at 6. Yes, it's at 6:35.
Okay,
So one's a stormwater management and the other one's what?
this.
Site plan review.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a good one.
So I anticipate that will take about a half hour. I would like to leave 30 minutes for that hearing.
Okay,
So that would mean that the public hearing would, follow. So it's probably going to start at like 7, unless you want to start early. I mean, you going to start at 4 and.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
I don't think that's gonna happen. So,
Okay. 6:30 it is on the 14th.
My presentation is
public-
about 10 to 15 minutes. Probably about 15 more.
Okay.
It'll be shorter than
So it's
Leominster because it's simpler than Leominster's.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
any other questions for Mr. Boyle?
think so.
None. Thank you very much, Mr. Boyle. We're
Thanks,
moving
Joe.
on.
You are very welcome. Robert's idea about discussing about the property owners and this idea about an education session for them, I think it's something to think about. Anyway, nice seeing you all tonight.
Okay.
Okay,
bye-bye.
thank
Good night.
Okay,
I got it.
2.2. For some reason, I don't have something that says 2.2. Beth, do
I can screen share it, but I think I'd rather just give you a quick update.
Okay.
We have a new housing administrator, housing and grant administrator, and I have sent him the proposed amendments that Aaron discussed with you at your last meeting. And I made the changes that the planning board suggested. A couple of them were get rid of the word inclusionary and replace it with affordable. I know that there were a couple of concerns. I think I captured them in the minutes. So I have conveyed that to the new housing administrator. His name's Kieran Meehan. And I believe I expressed to him that the Housing Authority, the Affordable Housing Trust, have to come up with a formula for local way to define affordability with a local mechanism, which I think is the goal. So they do have that, and they are meeting on the 19th to discuss that. I also sent the draft to town council, and I also, when I sent him the draft to review, I also notified him that those were technical areas that they're going to need some help with. So those two are out right now for review. I've also put a copy in your packet, so you can look it over yourself and see if you want to make any comments, or I can also send the meeting information when the Affordable Housing Trust meets, if you want to join in that discussion. But it is their bylaw. They are aware that we do have a warrant article for them in a placeholder form, and that planning board will include it in your public hearing. So, of course, they'll be invited to that public hearing to present it, and that you'll be providing a report to town meeting. So that's where that is. I hope it all works out time-wise. You know, I hope they can get it all done, but that's what's happening. The planning board really doesn't have to do anything. It's in the Affordable Housing Trust port on their desk right now for those areas that need to be, you know, ironed out.
So but planning will be holding the hearing. So will
Yeah,
that
as with any,
well,
that will be on the 14th as well.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. That's the second, that's why I put in a work session, all of the zoning bylaw amendments that will be on the annual town meeting
Okay.
warrant.
Okay. All right, so next is 2.3, and that's the floodplain district bylaw.
Okay, yeah, and I can, I think I put a copy in there for you. And
Yeah.
just a quick update on that. That has been to the DCR, and it has been approved. We're compliant with the model floodplain, the Massachusetts model floodplain bylaw. And it is now under review with town council. So I'm waiting to get that back. I'd like to see it sooner rather than later, but you know, I just kind of got to wait for town council. And when Mr. Shepherd reads the announcements and notices from other towns, you'll notice that Pepperell is working on the same thing, and Groton has already done their public hearing. So, you know, this is something that absolutely has to be passed at town meeting in May, because the floodplain maps are in effect July 8th of 2025. So we need to update the bylaw. Very important.
All right, so this also is scheduled for the 14th public hearing.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, thank you, Beth, for that report. And I see the 2.4. Okay, 2.4. Discussion review draft Townsend zoning district map.
Yes, Sabrina provided a print copy for you. And just a quick update, you can, the two things that will be added, that one has the historic district, which Mr. Shepherd mentioned, I think it was probably months ago now, but we're getting this done. And it also shows the Greenville Road section that was converted from industrial to residential. The two things that are still forthcoming are the lot lines, because there are no lot lines on there. So parcel IDs are normally on a zoning map. So you can look at your lot and say, what district am I in? And the second thing will be the floodplain. We'll be adding that in because the new firm maps are now available in GIS. So MRPC is working on that for us, and we should have that by tomorrow, the final revision. And I'll send that around to everybody again to see, you know, just for a review.
So does that mean that this will be updated that we have here?
Do you have the print copy there?
No, I'm talking about our map.
Oh, yes. Exactly. And it will actually be official because that is unofficial. It has never been adopted by town meeting. The one that we're creating now is to be adopted. I'm just not 100% sure if it's going to be annual town meeting or fall, only because if we adopt it as an official zoning map, I believe we'd have to repeal like 50 other maps that are in the code. So I could use a little guidance on that, to be honest. I don't know exactly about the process of repealing every other zoning map in the code. There are like 50. So I don't know if anybody can help me with that.
Is that a legal question?
A
Legal.
legal question?
Question.
I think so. It's more of a planner question, I think, somebody who would know. Maybe a town clerk question. I'm not sure, but I believe when Jessica was here, she said that the old maps would be repealed. Now, do they have to be repealed at the same time? I don't know. If they don't, then we could just adopt this as our official zoning map.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I can try to talk to Adam about that, or maybe
No,
I'll
thank-
just Google it and see
Yeah.
what Google comes up with.
Or,
Do you repeal all previous maps when you,
could we ask another town's, ask
Good idea.
Pepperell or Groton or, Lunenburg?
Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
somebody
That's
in
a
their
great
planning
idea.
office. Or
Okay,
even
I'll make-
Fitchburg, because they have a big planning office, and they have a person
Okay.
there. You might reach out to them and find something.
Okay, thank you. All right, will do.
When you adopt a new map and it's dated of your town, doesn't that kind of,
Make
isn't
them
that the
all-
one you go to is the most
You would think
recent?
it would, if you could put language in it to supersede, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, right.
Supersedes all previous
Yeah, yeah.
additions.
So see what somebody else has done first. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, no, thank you.
Okay.
2.5.
Our favorite topic.
Grossly restricted.
Okay, I don't see that here either, so,
Okay, so I guess I'll give you a quick update there. As you recall, it was on the special town meeting warrant, but at that time, I wasn't at the meeting. How was it worded for the warrant article at special town meeting about this,
okay.
Chair?
Well, what
The
happened?
age is,
Go ahead.
want me to?
Yeah.
The age restricted portion was not able to be explained. In other words, there was no place in the bylaw that referred to what it meant. Was it 50? Was it 55? Was it one person has to be the 55? Am I right?
Mhm.
That seemed to be the biggest crust of it.
And there were questions about, like in condos, transfer of ownership and enforcement of that.
Which the state has guidelines on because they have that now in the condominium one there. They have their own rules that they have to follow that the state imposes for the one that we approved in this bill.
Just kind of catch me up on what happened at the recent special town meeting where this went up there on the warrant and you weren't going to actually put it to a vote because of everything that happened. So
It was a lack of quorum.
Yeah, it was.
It was-
no. So it went on the March 10th special town meeting warrant, did it not? As Article 1, was it on that?
Yes,
But
yes.
that was.
It was, okay.
Yes, it was, but it was withdrawn.
It was withdrawn.
Okay, so it was withdrawn.
No action.
Okay. I wasn't sure what the wording was.
It was withdrawn. And.
Okay.
It was a continuation of the earlier one where we didn't have the quorum.
Yeah, okay, thank
And
you.
then
So now,
in March 10th, then it was brought again. It was on the warrant, but it was withdrawn from the warrant.
No motion was read.
okay, thank you. So now we're at, so now we do have, the board has a placeholder for May 6th annual town meeting. And Lori and I have been in contact with town council and we both asked him to provide some wording to make sure that it's,
Fine.
age restricted is defined. That's the only thing that is happening now. We're waiting for that wording from town council and he said he should have it by the end of the week. But I didn't know if you wanted to discuss any other changes to the bylaw or how you want to proceed.
I'd just like to suggest a couple things. We've introduced this wellness concept here. And I really would like to have part of the zoning for these districts, not just age restricted, but wherever multifamily projects are done, to have a private outdoor space of a minimum of 80 square feet. So the occupants of these buildings have their own private area outside. This is all part of the wellness thinking. And so you can envision in any of these different uses. All right, so we're talking multifamily, but we're talking about different uses. Low income, affordable, and age restricted. When you confine them to a very specific area, some of those occupants have children, some of those occupants want to be able to have a plant outside or do other things. So I think in terms of wellness, I'd like to see that included in one of the requirements, in the design requirements for those types of buildings.
I can talk to him
Could you
about
put that in? Yeah, could you put that in as a design standard? I don't know if you got my
think
email.
I did. I think I did.
Oh, you,
Yeah.
because I was going to
Well-
ask you if you could write it in, you know.
Each individual unit have an outdoor space, access to an outdoor space exclusively for them with a minimum square footage of 80 square feet, which is an 8 by
8 by
10.
10, like a patio or.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be a deck or a balcony or whatever, but I think it'll be beneficial for the developer to be more marketing for them than
Okay.
good for the.
Patio.
So the biggest, conversation that I had with him was to try to, that the intent of the age restricted, now this is our age restricted only, okay?
And that's what we're talking about now.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that we mean just that. Everybody is that age and above for our bylaw. It may not have happened before because the ones that were approved were under the state guidelines and they are okay with one being
Under.
right, and one over. But here, for this bylaw, this is 55 and over, and 55 and over, everyone is 55 and over, which you can also do, and it's not familial. So it's not to have your grandchildren living there or whatever for permanent. It's not, it's age restricted. There's other avenues to build other things.
I think that defining that the way we have, we made a vast improvement on that, okay?
Because that was the biggest question.
Say what?
Those were the comments that came up.
I know.
What if he dies and now Susie, his daughter, is there with her 2 kids?
Right.
It's not age restricted anymore. It's not for what it was intended.
Right.
So that is.
The only other thing that I find is we need to get more teeth into this so that it's targeted for our age people in our community, not just open to whoever. I mean, the whole purpose of
Can't do that.
when we
You can't do that.
No.
You can't.
And,
You can't.
no.
well
You
then
can't
I mean, why are we doing it?
Okay, listen.
You
for
can't
all the-
restrict residents. Yeah, you know what I mean? You can't.
But in the,
Well-
but you can do what we've been trying to do is an age restricted development. You cannot, it's not an affordable development. That's the Affordable Housing Trust now is doing their thing, and there'll be a separate bylaw for affordable. This will be market or whatever the developer wants to do, but it's age restricted.
Right. So if you look at the intent of the bylaw, each one for each application says is for the benefit of the community and with the intent of doing things for our elderly people and our low-income people and everything else. I have not seen that, right? In the meantime, we're given special privileges and reliefs on zoning when the intent was for our own people in our community, and we, the state or whatever, doesn't let us do that, and it has to be open to the public at large. So I'm like, why do we even have it? I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious here, but as far as when that was voted in the original town meetings, that's what people expected.
Right.
But
And
we can't
it's,
restrict the residents.
but we have said in certain language that it's, when you say the benefit of the community, that leads people to believe that it's targeted for the community, where it's really not. It's open to everybody. So in some ways, by the language we use, we mislead people into believing something where we got to be careful of the language that we use.
Okay.
That can lead people to misinterpret.
But
What
there
we're
are
saying-
benefits. Go ahead.
I know, but just by saying the benefits of the community leads people to believe that it's targeted for the community. And sometimes this gets us into trouble. I talk to a lot of, on my walks and stuff, and a lot of people just, they feel like they're being misled all the time by certain language that's used or not used. So I think we just got to be careful how we say things and don't make.
So if you look at what I have on the screen, if you see what I have on the screen, it doesn't say anything about Townsend residents.
I know.
And you really can't discriminate. You cannot discriminate when you're selling property.
Why are we giving the public at large, the whole Commonwealth of Massachusetts, access to our town and relief from our zoning when it doesn't benefit us?
It does benefit us.
How?
Well, if I'm 55 plus and I live in Townsend, I know that there's a development going up there, that benefits me.
It's not exclusive to you.
No, but I'm still benefited.
Well,
You could go buy the unit. Nothing stops you from going to buy the unit.
It's available
Especially if
to me.
it's not affordable. If it's market value, anybody can buy it.
Yeah.
Nobody is prevented from buying it.
So any resident could go buy it. You just can't say that you can't just make it sound like it's for the residents of Townsend.
well,
It's when it's open, but that doesn't prevent
I don't
anybody
know.
from
I'm
going.
like,
I mean, if I grew up in Townsend
mhm,
and I no longer want to live in my large house,
that's what we have.
having the 55 plus is great for me because I don't want to have to leave Townsend and move elsewhere where they have 55 plus
Absolutely,
communities.
that's
So
what
it's
the
a big-
intent, and that's
It is-
why we
it's a
even have
benefit.
it.
It's a
Right,
benefit to me.
right.
But you may have other people.
But what I'm
coming.
saying is, I would want you to stay here and live in Townsend because you're a Townsend person and you know your neighbors and it'd be very disruptive to move from another community.
Right.
However, we can't just give it to you because you're a resident.
Correct. But you make it available and it's made available to me.
So people take advantage or they don't take advantage.
Yeah.
So
Nobody's preventing them from buying it.
I got it, all right.
And without it, you're forcing me to leave town. If I cannot, if I can find a 55 plus, let's just say in Sturbridge.
Well, so what is the benefit? What is the benefit?
well,
To have 55 plus housing
so you can live there.
You
at a
can
lower
live
cost.
here at 55 anywhere.
at a lower cost.
No, it doesn't come at a lower cost. That's the thing.
Necessarily, no.
But, you would think it
I can tell
would
you
because,
though, towns over, it's a lot more money.
No.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's like, that's what I'm saying about it. We wanted it for our people in town. We wanted to be able to keep our people here. But if the economics isn't there with it, then it's not doing
Then
anything.
we have the affordable trust. That's gonna be a separate issue.
I mean, if the
Separate
economics
issue.
aren't there, then builders will not build it because they won't be able to
Right.
sell it.
Right, and in the meantime, you can't afford it. I mean, look at me, I'm 76, I'm in that group. Can I go and spend $500,000 for a condo? I can't.
Well, I can't do that either.
All right, so
But it
what
doesn't
I'm saying
matter.
is
You
it
can't
really
have
helping
builders
our
building.
people? It's not.
Well, everything costs more money, and that's why we're looking at the money that we're looking at.
I don't know, I think there's better ways to help people in this town.
Well, there
Even,
is a tax base growing and people contributing tax dollars into this town. The entire community benefits from that.
there's a lot of arguments and a lot of positions and pros and cons on this thing, okay? But I look at these kinds of programs, I haven't seen one town person I know benefit from any of them, okay? So the alternative is to look at this. We have so much of our town that is 3 acres per unit. Why can't we reduce that to even less than 1 acre for a unit? And then, at least with the cost of the lot, we've given an incentive to have a lower value on the property.
That should be done.
Right. But these other things don't work, is my point. I'd rather throw them out and do something positive here.
These are positive in their own way. I think every bylaw has something positive about it that offers opportunities for developers to do different things, okay? And you're making some very good points. And we should reduce the lots and have lots being approved per the Board of Health and not the planning board, the Board of Health and the building inspector.
But what I will tell you, and I think you were on the planning board at the time, I don't know if you were, but you remember the community forum that MRPC organized for us, where we had all of the town citizens, a lot of people come in and we split up into groups.
Yeah.
And they basically said the number one thing that they wanted the planning board to work on, that they thought was the most important, was 55 plus housing. Number one out of our community.
Back then.
Right. But I don't know anybody in town that's in them. That's what I'm saying.
We mean you
I
don't
mean,
know.
the intent was,
You only have two developments, right?
We only had 2 developers on
Only
that
one's been
part,
built.
but we do have, I took 7 years to do Townsend Woods. 7 years and 203 HUD money, okay? 3 tries with the government to finally get that, and we have 36 affordable housing units.
And there
And I
is
know a lot
a
of
huge
people who
waiting
live
list
there.
to get in there.
Yeah, a
Huge.
huge wait list.
Years.
But I also know many people in town who have
You know,
moved in there.
I'm here for a discussion and for information
Yep.
as
Okay,
well.
I'm trying.
So I brought up a perspective that I have and you've given me feedback on it, so.
Well, I just
okay.
basically
I'm
said
not
what the
as
community.
worked up about it as I
Good.
was 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
All right.
That
so-
makes me happy.
But again, from my perspective and a lot of these programs, I don't think the results are what people anticipated they would be. And so in that sense, I don't see them as successful.
I don't know what, I mean, in my mind, and correct me where I don't understand, I should be able to sell my house today,
To whoever you want.
whoever I want,
Right.
and buy one of these 55 plus units and walk away with money.
Right.
Mhm.
So what are people doing? I mean, look at it.
I mean, and my
Look at what
electric
I'm
bill is
doing.
gonna be going
I'm gonna be
down.
selling my house and I'm gonna go to Florida. All right, or I'm gonna sell my house and go to New Hampshire.
or I'm gonna sell my house and stay in Townsend, because I love Townsend.
Okay, if you have the funds and resources to do that, that's great.
Well, no, I can sell my house and buy a 55 plus in Townsend and have money left over.
Maybe, depending on the market value of the house.
I don't know.
I think most people who sell their big house in town.
I sell my
move
house and
into
I'm
one of
keeping
those
my money.
Yeah,
And have money left over.
exactly.
Okay, well taken, good
Yep.
back and forth, got a lot of
Okay, thank you,
information.
guys.
Okay. 2.6, discussion review relative to DLTA grants for MB2. Okay, this is the contract thing that you, it was in the, portal, I think it's 2.6. And any questions regarding this wall? This is, we already, per Beth, and Beth, you can chime in. We've already had, the March 12th, why are we starting here? Oh, February to April. This was the, guidelines.
I can give you a brief update.
Yeah, would you?
These are the two DLTA grants. Yeah, one is for MBTA Communities Compliance, and that's one continuing with MRPC. Joe Boyle's working on that project. And the other one is for the economic development, and that one is just starting up. So those are what you have.
This, I don't know if you guys remember, but this was, when the applications were coming up quick that they were due in order to get this grant. Aaron worked on getting this in, and with a lot of help from Patrick. So I consider this his baby, and we did get the grant. So, looking at it, it looks fine, to me. But do you have any questions, I guess, for you on the scope of the grant? Did anything look like it should be tightened up or should be something else? To me, it looked like a template. It looked like it was covering what it was supposed to cover, and it was something that we got and never even thought we were gonna get,
Yeah.
you know? So I think it's a great start for us to finally have something going in that direction for businesses and to attract businesses. Yay. So that was just informational. Did you have something else to add to what I said?
Nope. Nope, that's perfect. But we will invite, I will send an invite to Patrick when we have that first meeting, like we talked about in April, right?
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love it if he would attend if he's in town.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
2.7, planning board draft site plan approval application 140. Okay, Beth, want to walk us through your 2.7?
Yep, so just to let you know, I did have, that's been approved by Adams as well as the building commissioner. So I ran it by those two entities, worked with the building department creating it. And so I just wanted to know if you had any comments on it or any changes or or if you're ready to approve it and I can post it. We've had a few queries. We've had a few, what's the word I'm looking for? Folks come in. We've had the general public coming in asking about ADUs, as well as contractors, and they kind of want to know what the process is. So, the process is to start with the building department. If anybody asks you, he's going to be the one to determine whether or not it needs site plan approval. If it does, it'll come to us. And this is the process. You'll see the application. I think the only question is what do you want to charge for a fee for site plan approval? It's a new process, so I don't know. It's not the same, it's a fairly simple administrative process. I don't have to notify abutters. I don't have to, post and publish in the paper. basically I'm gonna bring it, I'll review it for completeness and bring it to you guys at your next meeting. And then I will write up a quick, decision, after the board votes on the, application. So I don't know if you got a chance to read through it and if you think that that's a easy, we wanted to make it as easy as possible. That's the whole idea. Just to
Does
move it.
$100 seem reasonable?
How much?
100, 100. 200? Do we hear 3?
I gave you my suggestion, but it could be too high. I don't know. What does a building permit cost in general for like an addition?
Well,
Does anyone know?
it's based on the estimated cost of construction, and some towns use a square footage basis. But any application that I see, I mean, and the point, so some building departments collect the fee after when the permit is issued, and some collect it in advance of applying for the permit.
Yeah, it depends on.
I would also, when you're talking to the other planning boards on, getting the advice on their, what they're doing on the multi-site. Is that what we're, you could ask them this question as well. What do you charge for someone for site plan review?
Okay.
That's a great idea, but we're kind of pioneers here. We're kind of, when I went to the planners conference on Saturday, I found out that there were Townsend is one of 10 communities who passed their ADU bylaw. So we're ahead of everybody on this one.
Okay.
So this is we're kind of making up our own process, but this was based on what was passed at the fall town meeting. So I took,
Think of the process. It's introduced in the building department, okay?
Yep.
So if there's no requirement for site plan review, it's just stuck with the permit application itself for a building permit.
Yeah.
If the particular project needs site plan review, then how much effort do we and our administrative people need to do that? So it involves our staff here processing it, our time publishing it. So maybe 200 is too much. I don't know. But
No, she has 300.
I would think more like 300, but I don't want to go too high either. Because I will be reviewing the application for completeness. Let's say it's not complete. I'm going to go back and, make sure that we get the feed, make sure that we got everything we need.
So you got 2 or 3 hours in that, right?
Yeah, because after you have your meeting and you approve it, let's say you approve it with conditions, then I'll be writing up an approval determination for you. For whatever you decide.
$300 is what I feel like it should be.
You want to go?
I was kind of thinking that.
Okay, so.
Well, I mean, what is usual A&R fees at the all said and done with?
A&R fees have gone up quite a bit. We have a new fee schedule. I can pull it up, but the base fee went up.
Yeah, what is it?
I mean, the last one we brought in was $1,200 for the Greenville Road A&R, and that was 5 lots. So it's gone up quite a bit, but this is a process that is not as involved, again, as the site plan review special permit, but it's a condensed version of that. But I can anticipate spending at least 2 to 3 hours on that.
$300.
I like 300.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Do you need a motion for that?
I think you would, set the fee. I think to set the fee and to accept the application. Does anybody have any revisions on the application? And keep in mind, I will not be circulating this for any comments from other departments. This will just be planning board. And of course, the building commissioner.
Beth, I would hope that, you know, we haven't done it before, so we just try to be a little bit nimble with it. And if, you know, we have it out for a year or 6 months and then you realize, geez, I'm not getting the info. I keep asking people these questions anyways. You know, maybe we just take it back up and adjust it.
The only
Yeah.
comment I have is, do you want to get the owner of records email? Because in the owner of record, you have name, da 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 da. In the applicant's name, you have name, but the applicant provides an email address. Why wouldn't the owner provide one as well?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks. I'll add that. It makes life easier. Everything's by email now, you know, nothing calls anything. Okay, oh, I also had the highway department, and I've also sent it to the highway superintendent, and he put in the question about driveways, because if, you know, they possibly could be putting in a new driveway, so that means they need a driveway permit. I also asked conservation if they had anything they wanted, and I didn't hear back, so I'm assuming that's fine, you know, but I'll put in the part about the email.
Okay, and I guess I'm confused. So from the highway department, what would you put? I mean, did you put in something?
Yes, it's on here.
The question I asked was, will you plan on putting in a new driveway? Let's say they're cutting a new driveway for the ADU. It's an outbuilding and they're going to create a new driveway. And that's why I also added the question from water, because I had the water super review it, and if they need a new water line and it's separate meter, you know what I mean? Some of these will be in outbuildings, so we have to think about these things, and that's why I put those questions in there. So they do say they do need a new driveway, then I'll just alert highway, or I'll just, you know, they'll know that they have to get a driveway.
Do you want to add? Do you want to add if there's any scenic road implications?
No.
How
Because in a
would
lot
that-
of cases, you know, when there's a driveway being put in,
There's a stone wall or something there, yeah.
there usually is.
Oh, so
So
the
you could say that.
Oh, for the stone wall?
that will fall under highway, I think. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that would be highway. He usually flags those, so I don't know. Like, it's right on the highway permit application. Is this scenic roads
Scenic
or
roads?
yeah.
Um,
So I think we're safe.
Well, I wonder, should we distinguish between a driveway and a curb cut? Does that
Well,
make
you know,
sense?
it's interesting you asked that, because the highway supervisor also mentioned the DOT permit. Is that what you're getting at? Because he mentioned that. I just didn't know how specific to be. Because, you know, anybody on 119 creating a new driveway, don't they need the DOT permit? Or is that
Right.
just for commercial? Is that for
No.
residential too? No. Okay. So no worries. Yeah. All right.
Yes, there are worries. I'm sorry about it.
Okay. So I think we're good with that. I think the highway, if he'll catch it, you know, I'll alert him.
I mean, the question's there
I
about
could add that.
driveway entrances. So they gotta answer the question about the entrance, or if that's gonna change, it's on the application.
It should be on the
And I think-
application.
It is.
You know, I could also add right at the bottom, you know, copy to, and then circulate it that way. There's no reason I can't do that. That would just be, you know, administrative, keeping everybody on the same.
In the
You know.
highway, water, but
Yeah.
do you mean all departments?
I think the
Just
critical land use, yeah, you know, building commission, well, they would already know. Building would know, obviously, but just, you know, water would be, and highway, right? That's it. I mean, I have a lot of questions about assessors, you know, how these addresses are going to be established and that kind of thing, but they're, you know, it's all evolving.
Well,
Treated like
we're only talking on single-family units that have an additional unit with them. So it's pretty simple, A and B. Unit A and Unit
Well,
B. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that emergency management didn't like letters. Is that correct, Andrew, or?
I think
Numbered houses.
just having
Or
clear
does it-
numbers is really the big thing that makes a difference, but it certainly can get tricky when you have three. I mean, we did mutual aid one day to a chimney fire, and it looks like a single family home, but then there's an apartment over the garage, and then even behind the house is a third unit, and then you kind of like,
Wow.
you walk in to check for hotspots, and you're like, where am I? And you're just like, this is.
Yeah.
So it's certainly something to think about.
Yeah.
It's just clear markings.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll work more with the assessors on that and find out, how we're gonna, I mean, it's gotta be a separate mailbox too, I would imagine, if it's, not I don't know, there's a lot to consider. But that's great, so I'll take care of those edits that you talked about and finalize that application.
And these were all good points. Everybody came up with good points on it too. So thank you. And is there a motion to approve the application with the edits made by the board and to insert the filing fee of $300?
Go for it.
So moved.
There's a motion by Andrew,
And I'll second
seconded
it.
by Carol. Any further
Okay, thanks.
discussion? I think it's a good job.
Thank you.
Vote please.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Lance McNally, yes.
Robert Theron, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank
Okay,
you, Beth. Good job.
You're welcome.
Okay. Andrew, okay, we got the minutes, which were very long. And so we'll have no administrative report written, but was there anything you wanted to say?
I've just been kind of adding along, thank you. As you go through the agenda, I've been adding comments, so thanks. Oh, well, yeah, I will actually announce, I think I did earlier, that we have Karen Meehan joined us as Housing and Grant Administrator. And I think I already mentioned this, but Colby Streeter is the conservation agent, and it's great to have him in the office, and things are really going well. So that's, and I think I mentioned that Aaron, the land use coordinator, has moved on. So
Yes.
that's what's going on in the office.
Unfortunately, at this juncture, basically because of what happened at the meeting, we have a hiring freeze in town. So we appreciate everything you're doing.
And I appreciate you.
And the new grant writer.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Great
He's
team.
really
So,
involved.
all right. Andrew, you're up.
Perfect.
3.2.
We have a eclectic and long mix of notices. So the first one is from the Towns and Conservation Commission. This one was for a public hearing that happened last Wednesday, March 12th at 7:15 p.m. And it was to amend an order of conditions filed with the Conservation Commission by Jack Ritchie. The property is located at 56 Bayberry Hill Road, Assessor's Map 17, Parcel 6. The proposed project is for the demolition of the present house and foundation and construction of a new foundation and house. The project is within 200 feet of a riverfront area. Parties wishing to speak in support or opposition to the application may do so at the meeting last week. All right. The next one is the Groton Historic District Commission public hearing. This is for a public hearing on Tuesday, March 18th, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. at the Groton Town Hall. This is to consider an application submitted by Jason Gilberti, trustee, seeking a certificate of appropriateness for 127 Main Street, Assessor's Map 113-41, to install a low-profile, all-weather camera surveillance system around the building.
That was in the historic district.
Yes, their historic district commission.
Okay. I recognize the verbiage now.
This is for the town of Ashby planning, from the town of Ashby Planning Board. This is a notice for a public hearing for the zoning amendment. It's March 26th at 7:15 p.m. They actually have two public hearings. The 7:15 is for the flood insurance plan, similar to us updating their map. And then they have a 7:30, and this is for accessory dwelling units. No, it's on par with everything that we're doing too. So this is another one from the town of Ashby Planning Board. This is a notice of public hearing for a zoning amendment. This is for Wednesday, April 9th at 7:15 p.m. But this is to create an MBTA Communities Multifamily Overlay District. This will be of 5 acres, approximately 5 acres, to allow multifamily housing as of right in accordance with Section 3A of the Zoning Act. The amendment will allow multifamily housing, 2 family dwellings, and 1 family as of right up to a maximum of 62 residential units. This is the town of Pepperell Planning Board. Yeah, 62. Ashby.
Ashby, 62.
Yeah.
Wow.
Town of Pepperell Planning Board, they will hold a public hearing on April 7th at 6:30 p.m. to consider proposed amendments. This is for the floodplain overlay district. Meeting will be held at Town Hall. This is a notice of decision from the town of Groton for a special permit regarding hammerhead lots and shared driveway at 101 Longley Road. The Groton Planning Board voted to grant a special permit pursuant to the code of the town of Groton, chapter 218 zoning, section 218-6.4 hammerhead lots, and section 218-8.1F shared driveways to a Christopher Curtis. Property location is 101 Longley Road. Another town of Groton notice of decision. This is a special permit for a wellness studio at 134 Main Street. The Groton Planning Board voted to grant a special permit pursuant to their zoning codes. The applicant was Yogesh Kumar, 163 Main Street, Westford. The landowner is KMPD Capital, based in Andover, and the property is 134 Main Street, the basement unit, Boynton Meadows. Town of Broughton public hearing notice. This is for a special permit of a shared driveway at 10 Worthen Drive. Public hearing will be Thursday, March 27th at 7 p.m. To consider an application submitted by Jody M. Gilson under the provisions of the Groton zoning bylaw, section shared driveways. The applicant proposes to construct a shared driveway which will serve 2 lots on Worthen Drive, assessors parcels 221-14.2 and 221-14.3. The shared driveway will be constructed of a compacted gravel and will be located along the center line of the existing gravel access drive at 10 Worthen Drive. The proposed driveway is shown on the plan entitled Proposed Site Plan Shared Driveway, prepared by Dillis and Roy. This is a Town of Lunenburg public hearing from their planning board. The public hearing will be the 24th of March at 6:05 p.m. at their town hall. An application for special permit for a common driveway by Proctor Mass Ave Realty Trust for the construction of a single-family dwelling at 1523 Mass Ave, utilizing an existing common driveway which currently services 1491, 1523, and 1529 Mass Ave. This is a public hearing notice from the Planning Board of Lunenburg for the 24th of March, 6:05 p.m. Site plan approval by Silo Electric LLC for the installation of a battery electric storage system on an existing industrial concrete batch site. The location is at 485 Leominster Shirley Road, Assessor's Map 143, parcel number 9. The owner is Lafarge North America, based in Dundee, Michigan.
That's close to where I grew up, Dundee.
Okay.
Really? You grew up in the Midwest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see, this one is the Town of Lunenburg Planning Board, notice of decision for 801 Northfield Road. The application purpose was the construction of a 10-space gravel parking area at the Reno Conservation Area on Northfield Road. Planning Board voted to approve the site plan approval application. Notice of decision from the Town of Lunenburg Planning Board for 110 Pleasant Street for site plan approval. The purpose was constructing an addition of approximately 1,092 square feet to the garage / equipment repair space of an existing shop building on the property. Map 95, parcel 16. The applicant was Peritus Contractors, 91 Mill Street in Leominster. And it was approved. Another notice of decision from the planning board in Lunenburg, the 558 and 560 Goodrich Street, a special permit for a common driveway. The application purpose is the construction of a single-family residence on a new building lot to be served by a pre-existing common driveway now serving more than 2 lots. Assessor's map, parcel map 133, parcel 10 and 11. The applicant was the Easterbrook Nominee Trust at 560 Goodrich Street, Lunenburg. The property owner was the Easterbrook Nominee Trust and ER Realty Trust. And it was approved. Town of Groton. This is a planning board public hearing notice for the proposed bylaw amendment for accessory dwelling units. The Groton Planning Board will hold their hearing on March 13th, had their hearing on March 13th for their ADU bylaw. And that's everything.
Really, Andrew?
Anytime.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, 3.3. Is there anything from the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission or any other agencies? Yeah.
She's shaking her head now.
No, okay. I'll take that. Okay, then, 5.1, our next meeting is actually April 14th, 2025. And the annual town meeting is scheduled for May 6th, 2025 at Town Hall.
So not meeting on the 7th.
We're not
I was
meeting on
wondering
the
I was wondering if I could give a quick recap when you get a second on the Citizen Planner Training Conference. It was really good.
Yes, go ahead.
So under 4.1, I did go last Saturday. It's probably the best session I went to. Was called Demystifying Development, a peek behind the curtain of permitting projects. And I thought this one was excellent. I've been going to this conference for years. They had, they basically had a founder of a development company. They had a planner and they had an engineer, and that was the panel. And they went through all points of view of all the different players, and I don't want to call them players, but contributors to a development project. I learned a lot. I did take some notes, so I will share those with the board. There were a lot of planning board members there, basically because it really did give you a great point of view of what the engineer is working towards, and from the planner's perspective, how to keep the community involved. They did 3 case studies on warehouse. So you got, what the planner is worried about, what the developer is worried about, which is a lot of times we don't hear. The cost of pre-permitting, the study, the money that goes into studies. So I really enjoyed it. And I will share some of my notes with the board. The other one I attended was what's new with accessory dwelling units. I found that one really helpful because of all the changes that were going on. So a lot of good questions and a lot of answers. I think we raised more questions than they answered. So, but the other one I went to was regional approaches to historic preservation planning, and that was good too. I did get a lot of resources there that I can share with the board. It's not, it wasn't as interesting in my book as the other two because of the dynamic things going on, but I got a lot of good information about what the other planning commissions are doing.
Good.
Thank you.
So as a registrant, after the presentations, did they happen to share links to the webinar portions or,
No, unfortunately it's in person, but I mean, some of the presentations I will be receiving, and as soon as I get those, I'll pass those along. I'm pretty sure. I did take a lot of pictures of the demystifying development one because it was fantastic. I just learned a lot. It's great to have those different points of view when you're looking at a project because you just and there's the schedule, there's the money, there's the community, there's so many things involved, and it was cool to have them all in one place, and from my point of view. But if I can get that presentation, I will. I request all of them. I can probably get the ADU one. So yeah, I'll request everything, and I will pass it along.
okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so now I can entertain a motion to adjourn unless somebody has anything else.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Carol moves.
At 8:80.
I'll second.
Lance seconds.
What time is it? 8? I can't read
I
that.
think it's 8:20.
8:20 is good.
8:20. Okay.
Yeah, that one's. Hearing no objections, I hear none. Good night.